Welcome back to another edition of the High Five. I'm your host, Taylor Bretl, alongside Tepsic. We're in the middle of November, which means basketball season is heating up. Today, we're going to start things off by taking a deep dive into our top 5 college basketball players in the ACC. Katie, who do you have at number 5?
At number 5, I have the Syracuse guard De'Asia Fair. De'Asia followed coach Felicia Lizette-Jack and transferred to Syracuse from the University of Buffalo in 2021, and she's been making waves for the Orange ever since. Her senior season last year was monumental, as she started and played in all 33 of Syracuse's games last season, in addition to leading the team in scoring. She averaged an incredible 19.9 points per game and 3.5 rebounds. Fair was ranked second in scoring in the ACC, as well as being named first team All-ACC and All-ACC defensive team. To start off this season for the Orange, the graduate student has started 2 out of the 3 games that have been played so far, but has still been putting up consistent statistics, averaging 20.3 points for these games. I'm excited to see how her performance continues to dominate as the season progresses.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there. I mean, it's crazy that that's the number 5 player on our list. I mean, very impressive to average 20 points per game and be on the All-ACC defensive team. Very good player on both sides of the ball. So let's take a look at who you have at number 4.
At number 4, I have the UNC guard Deja Kelly. With her senior season just beginning, she's already been named to the Nancy Lieberman Award watch list, which is the award for the National Point Guard of the Year. This is the second year in a row that Kelly has been placed on this watch list, and as a junior, she was just as successful. As well as being put on the Nancy Lieberman watch list last year, Deja was also named WBCA All-America Honorable Mention for the second year in a row, as well as being placed on the All-ACC first team. She started in all of the 32 games that she played in, averaging 16.5 points and 35.4 minutes per game. Additionally, Deja averaged 15.9 points per game against AP top 25 teams. The Tar Heels will be facing Elon tomorrow, November 18th at 3 p.m., making it a great time to watch Deja play at lunch.
Like you said, in lunch, having her cook and I can cook lunch at the same time, I mean, I'm all ears. I'm ready for that. It's a breathtaking amount of awards that she has to kick off her season. And for UNC, that player's going to lift their program above and beyond.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so now we're in the top 3. So holding the bronze medal at 3rd, who do you have?
At 3rd, I have the Florida State guard Tanaya Latson. Now, Tanaya is the youngest on this top 5. She's a sophomore, and as a sophomore myself, I was comparing my workload to hers, and in addition to her successes, just listen to this. Last year, she had one of the most exceptional freshman seasons in women's college basketball history, in addition to breaking the ACC's single-season freshman scoring record with, get ready for this, 659 total points. She led all freshmen in points, averaging 21.3 points per game. The next closest freshman had 17.9 points. This led to her becoming the first ACC freshman to ever lead the league in scoring. It doesn't really get much better than that, and there's no doubt that the Seminoles are happy to have such a threat on their team. Personally, I'm rooting for her to keep breaking records the way she is for her second season with Florida State.
Yeah, those stats just blow me away, especially for a sophomore, like you said. I'm also a sophomore myself. I think we could be seeing the new face of ACC women's basketball for years to come. So now, only 2 spots left. Who do you got at number 2?
Coming in second on the podium, we've got Virginia Tech guard Georgia Amor. Georgia's senior season is one all Hokie fans are looking forward to watching. Last year, the Australian was named MVP of the 2023 ACC Women's Basketball Tournament, as well as making first team All-ACC. Last season, she averaged 16.3 points per game, and so far this season, she's averaging 22.5 points per game. In last night's matchup against Houston Christian, she racked up 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 16 assists. And at the end of the first quarter against Iowa, she even had a half-court shot buzzer beater. Georgia Amor is adored by Virginia Tech fans and should be feared on the court by her opponents for her consistency and ability to heave up a half-court shot whenever necessary.
That half-court shot was definitely electric. There's no shock to see Georgia Amor high on this list. Coming off, like you said, that career-high 31 points against Iowa, and then following it up, those 16 assists was the Virginia Tech's women's basketball record against Houston Christian. Amor has brought extreme value to the Hokies and has shown already early in the season why she's worthy of being a top pick in the WNBA draft. So now, going for the gold. Who you got at number 1?
At number 1, taking the gold for this week's top 5 ACC women's basketball players is none other than Virginia Tech center Elizabeth Kitley. Liz is back as a graduate student this year at Virginia Tech, and Hokie Nation couldn't be happier. She won the ACC Player of the Award back-to-back for 2021 and 2022 and 2022-2023 seasons. Her senior year, she averaged 18.2 points per game and 10.7 rebounds per game. She's 6'6", so I'm thinking that her extra height helps her snatch that ball right out of the air. That same year, she also became Virginia Tech's all-time leader in points, field goals, blocks, and double-doubles, and she did it all while surpassing 1,000 rebounds and 2,000 career points. It's safe to say that Liz Kitley's basketball career is one for the history books, and she's not even done yet. In last night's game against Houston Christian, Kitley put up 23 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, thoroughly contributing to the 105-36 win, which was made Tech's record 2-1. So far this season, she averages 21.5 points per game, and my best advice is to not expect her to slow down anytime soon.
A very well-deserved #1 spot, as you were saying, for fifth-year Liz Kitley. She's been one of the big reasons why the Hokie squad got to that Final Four last year and has already been impactful this season. On top of being one of the best rebounders in the ACC and even the NCAA, she can shoot too. She even snuck in that three-pointer from the top of the key in yesterday's game versus Houston Christian. And like I said for Amor, Kitley as well will likely be a top 10 pick in the WNBA draft.
Absolutely, and Liz Kitley was a no-brainer for that #1 spot. The Hokies are definitely glad to have her back again this season. It'll be really fun to see her shine this year on the court for sure.
Okay, now we will move on to our up high of the week, then our down low, and then our too slow. So, kicking it off with our up high of the week, we have to give it to the NC State Wolfpack, who took down #2 UConn 92-81. With a sold-out crowd in Raleigh, the Wolfpack put on an absolute show. Sanaya Rivers led the pack with 33 points and jumped from unranked to 14th in the country.
Sanaya Rivers is truly dominating the court for the Wolfpack this season. She's averaging 16.7 points per game, helping NC State win their 3-0 record. Coming off of this high note, who do you have for the down low?
Yeah, for our down low of the week, it has to go to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who are coming off a loss to North Carolina A&T. The Demon Deacons were home in this game and entered as 14.5-point favorites, but they could just not make any shots. As well as having 18 turnovers, they have to get back on track as soon as possible if they want to turn their season around, especially with ACC play to come later in the year.
And the Deacons sure did put up a fight, outscoring the Aggies in both the first and fourth quarters, but they just couldn't finish that game out on a high note. The narrow losses are the toughest pills to swallow, especially losing by such a small margin as 5 points. Now, who's your too slow pick for the week, Taylor?
Yeah, wrapping it up with our too slow of the week, I got to go with the Clemson Tigers. Now, don't get me wrong. I know facing the #1 team in the country in South Carolina is no easy task, but you're going into the game 3-0, beating your opponents by an average of 28 points per game. I don't think many people had them losing by close to 70 points on their bingo card. The Tigers lost 109-40 and only managed to score double-digit points in one quarter. Luckily, though, their hardest game of the year is out of the way, and they can hope to go up from here.
Definitely a tough loss for the Clemson Tigers. Teams always want to go into a game against a difficult opponent swinging, but the Gamecocks just dominated the court that entire time. I know they're hoping to get their momentum back on Sunday against Longwood at home.
Yeah, well, that wraps it up here on the High Five. I appreciate you guys joining us. I'm your host, Taylor Bretl, alongside Kaylee Tepsic, and we'll catch you guys later.